welcome to Categories TV. My name is Jason J. Rock Houston, and we got with us today my good friend Mick Michaels, founding member, guitarist, and principal songwriter of Corner the Sanctuary. And I know that's what you're most proud of, as you should be, your songwriting. You guys got another great new EP that just came out called Metal Up. So let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. Hey, listen, thanks for having me on. We just dropped our new EP. It's an extended EP. It's got 8 tracks on it.
Okay.
It's called Metal Up. And I mean, we say it all the time, but we're pretty excited about it. I mean, anytime we get to release some material and share it with people, we're pretty excited about it.
Yeah, now I seen you got a video for I believe the song is Earth Fighter. Talk a little bit about that. I mean, first of all, I just love the video. You guys always put out great looking videos. And I was curious, Earth Fighter, does that have anything to do with climate change or environment or anything like that?
No, not really. It's just, I mean, I guess most of it, it's just standing up for what you believe in, right? Right. Like, yeah. Regardless. Yeah. I mean, with a lot of our music, we tend to have a writing style of, we're talking about a couple different things at one time. So we use a lot of like metaphor or, just
I kind of dig that, because the fact that I like just the title Earth Fighter, I'm sure I'm not the only one that, initially had that thought, but I dig the fact, like you said, that you kind of go a little deep and you use metaphors, and definitely it's the state of the world that we're living in currently. I mean, there was a time, when all musicians and entertainers were kind of on the same page as far as censorship, but now everybody is into kind of whatever their political view is, and you got a certain group of entertainers thinking certain people should be censored and other people shouldn't be censored. So I think that's a great kind of a thing to kind of stand up for, the censorship and wanting to cancel everybody,
Yeah, I think it's, well, I mean, again, I'm not a supporter of that. I think everybody has a right to do, as long as they're not hurting someone else.
Yeah.
I know, I mean, and that could be looked at a couple different ways. You could use your words to hurt other people.
Sure.
I think that the level of tolerance that I think that especially our society has built itself on is kind of, it doesn't exist anymore. And so anything that kind of stands against the grain, we want to cut it and axe it. I mean, that was the thing. Metal wouldn't be around today.
I mean, getting away from even music, I mean, it's gotten to a point where comedians, before they go on stage or, before they write up their act, they got to really kind of think about what is accepted today and what won't be accepted. It's gotten to a point where, people take their comedy so damn serious that you can't even tell a joke, without offending everybody.
Yeah, I mean, we just recently, someone had asked us, like, hey, I have a friend that's is certain, does, this kind of view and whatever, and I hate to bring him to the show and there's going to be a problem. And I says, well, I'm not exactly sure what you mean. I mean, are you talking from us? I go, I don't care who comes to the show. I don't have if people are coming to the show, more the merrier. I mean, that's the whole
thing. Getting rock out, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So if now there's going to be this concern about who's going to the show, what's going to be at the show, well, then I don't know, I can't concern myself with that. Like we shows for anybody that wants to come in, and for any struggling band, anybody that comes in the door, that's the audience, and it doesn't matter who they are or what they believe in or their political persuasion or whatnot. We're there for the music, right? The music is the key to
unifier.
What we're trying to get to. So it always baffled me that people will have these restrictions even before they would get to a place. Like, and again, if it's just music, like I said, with all the restrictions, metal would have never made it if it was happening today.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I mean, I think music is the one thing that can really be a great unifier, and bringing people together. And kind of like you're saying, I mean, I think like with anything in life, you show up to work every day, at a 9-to-5 job, working at a store or even an office. There's certain expectations of how you're supposed to act at work versus maybe when you're in your own home, And so I think people just need to learn to act like, decent human beings. And if you go to, if you go to a rock concert with the intention of having a good time, that's all that really should be, the thing that matters.
I agree. I agree. Unfortunately, I think that, I mean, our society has made a shift. I mean, I realize this is more of a music show, but
sure.
Society has made a shift over the last 20 years, for good, bad, or indifferent. It's just the way it happens. There's evolution that happens. But I think that, not to keep bringing up like, COVID, but with the events of COVID and the aftermath of it, I think it just, people kind of lost themselves. They lost their place. And I think a lot of people have lost their minds, and they forgot what decency is all about. And I mean, I'm not a huge fan of social media. I say it on my show. I've written about it. I'm not a big fan of it. And being, an older rocker, I got the social media late. And just because there's no interest in it, right? For me, I understand the importance for a band and its brand and all that stuff. I totally get that. However, I like as a regular person, like, take the guitar off and I'm just a regular Joe that pays my bills. I don't do social media. I'm not interested.
The social media, the thing with social media too is it's a great tool if you know how to use it and you know how to do it. But at the same time, like even doing these interviews, as long as I've been doing them, you find out things along the way, no matter how hard you work or how good of an interview or show you might put on. I mean, YouTube has all these little restrictions kind of get in your way. I mean, something as simple, I learned that, like certain one of our interviews we post, they'll get a better response than others, where you might have one crazy, an interview with maybe an up and coming band that nobody's ever heard of. It gets some crazy figure like 1.4K. And then you do an interview with somebody like a legend like Carmine Appice, it gets 17 views. I mean, you find out other things along the way where, okay, you need to have to, before you can even start making money on YouTube, you gotta have like 500 subscribers and all these little rules. And then you find out that people, like, they click on the show, but they watch it maybe only for 10 minutes. They got to watch it for at least 20 for it to make any kind of money, and all these little rules. But like, I do it because I love it. I do it because I want to support the bands that I love. And so you kind of work within those parameters,
Oh yeah. I mean, you're absolutely right. There's like one restriction after another, and it's for the rule makers, it's easy because all you got to do is just keep changing the rules, right? Change the distance of the finish line, and then the runners have to either conform or they just drop out of the race. And a lot of people. Now, speaking of
we're still in the race, and for the long haul, and just like Corner of the Sanctuary, you guys have been doing like, I think 11, 12 years now, and you guys are always pumping out new material. I think reason you got the fan base you do, not just the quality of the songs and the music make, but you really do deliver the goods every time, and yet you don't really seem to ever stray away too much from your original sound. You guys kind of stay pretty consistent with the sound of a band.
Well, I think I would agree. Yeah, I mean, the thing is I mean, like, if all of a sudden like our next EP or album is a rap album, it just wouldn't make sense.
No,
we'd alienate people. Yeah. Listen, can artists do that? Yeah, I feel that artists have the right to do whatever they want as their craft is getting better, as they're honing, as they're experimenting. But I think that that's unfair in a sense to the audience that you've been working with and friending all this time, and then all of a sudden they come to rely on this. And I know, listen, we just received a review not too long ago, and the guy said kind of the same thing. It was like tongue in cheek. Somebody from over Europe, they'll applaud you and insult you all at the same time. We play the same. We don't play the same song, but we play within the same vein, the same style, because we're playing true to ourselves. That means what we're doing is consistent and sustainable, and we've been doing it for 13 years. If I changed every album, one album's a thrash album, one album's a death metal album, power metal, so on and so forth, it's not sustainable, right? I'm not in this to follow trends.
Yeah.
Listen, I want to make the dollar just like everybody else. Like, if we don't make a certain amount of money, the band doesn't continue on. We can't afford to do what we need.
Yeah.
At the same time, there has to be some sustainability and
Sure.
some truth to it, right? Because if
Yeah.
I'm doing something I don't really like, I don't necessarily want to. At my age, I don't want
Yeah.
to do it. I just don't want to do it.
Hey, even look at a guy like George Lynch. He's kind of been guilty of that. I mean, he's very successful. He's at a point in life where he can afford to kind of do different types of projects if that's what he wants to do. I remember he put out kind of like a rap Lynch Mob album like in the early '90s and kind of got backlash for it. But you know, he kind of like you say he got back in line. He said, "Well, I want to try to see what it sounds like," and then he got back in line and did what he's known for. You know.
Yeah, well, listen, I mean, we experiment. I mean, we do holiday songs every year, right?
Yeah,
And we
yeah,
try
yeah.
stuff, and because we can, right? Um, if there's other things that I've wanted to do, I don't feel that I need to mess up a brand that we've been working on. So I go out and like I did stuff with the Hereafter project,
Sure,
some
sure.
a doom groove, right? Not really Corners of Sanctuary, but
Yeah.
there could be some in there with me because there's guys in there from it, right? I've done stuff with some like contemporary adult lounge type of music,
Wow.
and I've
Yeah, yeah.
worked on country songs, and I've done stuff like that. But I don't have to put everything under Corners of
No,
Sanctuary.
no. Yeah.
I'm an artist, or at least I'm trying to be.
Yeah, trying
And
to
so
be.
I
Yeah.
expand into different areas. I branch out. But Corners of Sanctuary is one thing, and the other things are something else, right?
Yeah.
So
In fact, you shared me in some of the past interviews we've done that like things like that have come up over the years and kind of just accidentally, like you told me, for the longest time you're really against doing cover songs, but then you did one and you're like, yeah, okay, maybe we'll do another one. You did a Warrant one not too long ago, so um, again, because why like do nothing but covers when you can write the way when you got the gift to write songs like you do make. But I think it's kind of cool to every once in a while put out a cool cover tune and give people
yeah,
something to check out.
yeah. I mean, listen, I'm learning too, right? I mean, I
Yeah,
didn't get into this years and years ago to do other people's music. I
sure,
always
sure.
wanted to write my own stuff. And during again, COVID taught us a couple things, like and we joke about it, but like if you can't beat them, cover them. If you can't beat them, open for them. So, and there's nothing wrong with that.
No,
And I've got enough of a body, and I've been saying this. I got enough of a body of original work that I don't need to prove myself to
no, no.
anybody, or even myself. So to prove anything to myself, I said, well, you know what? Let's give it a shot with some cover songs. And to boot, both the last two cover songs that we did, Crazy Horses and from the Osmonds and
Yeah.
Inside Out from Warrant, both of them charted in the World Indie Top 100. So I
Wow.
can't complain.
Yeah,
So we
yeah.
did something right. I mean, we did something right on somebody else's music, but hey, whatever.
You put your spin on it, and two, again, I love the fact that you guys, that's not an obvious choice for a band like Corner Sanctuary to cover about Osmonds, but you really meddled it up and you did your thing, and I think when people check that out, really dig it, and there's a certain portion of people that never heard the Osmond version, you kind of introduced some of your fans to that, and then they probably went and checked out the original version.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Frankie and I, our singer Frankie, I mean, we've been Osmond fans since we were kids, right? We grew up
Yeah,
listening to the Osmonds, so that was always a power horse of a song. So I mean, it was always one that we talked about, like when we would fool around, go, hey, like if we ever do a cover song, let's do one of these, and so then when the time came, that's what we decided to do. So and we're probably going to do some other cover songs in the coming year.
we
Or
look
so.
forward to that. Definitely. Anytime you guys drop anything, it's really cool. Like, and I imagine even though we're hitting upon summer, you're probably gonna go in the studio soon and get to work on the new Christmas song, right? For this year.
Yeah, well, we'll be in. I mean, we go in every August to record the song, so it's ready to release by November. But we've already started writing some stuff. We start writing stuff in the midst of the other song that's already out that season, just because the flow's happening, right? So we jot down some ideas, we demo some stuff, we record stuff on our phone, and then we let it go, and then we come back to it beginning of summer, and then we see what we have, what really does work, what was just kind of like, oh man, we were kind of in the Christmas zone then, but it wasn't really, we thought it sounded good, but it didn't. So yeah, and I mean, we're gonna be doing some shows this summer, and we got we're already working on a follow-up EP, Forever Metal, which may be out before the end of the year, beginning of the first.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean, listen, we're a band, right?
Yeah, yeah.
We write music, we're recording music, we're trying to play out. We haven't been playing out as much as we used to because there's not a lot of places to play.
Wow, wow, wow.
And the world has changed, but we're making do from what we can. And we have some studio time coming up. We actually just did we tracked some guitars and drums for a bunch of songs, including some cover songs that we'll come back to probably at the end of the summer. Like, so we take advantage of our time,
Sure.
get some stuff started, and then we'll come back later on or whatever. But
I mean, your fans definitely cannot complain, Mick. I mean, if anything, there is no abundance of new material coming their way. I mean, there are a lot of even established bands we grew up on that, you're lucky if they put an album out every 4 or 5 years, and that's just the way it's done these days. So I think for a band to be, because even for the Sanctuary, you're in a place in your career where you can say, you know what, we've got enough releases at this point. We don't need to put out any new material. But like you said, you're a creative guy. You like to write songs, so why would you stop doing that?
Yeah, well, I mean, look, we're still growing as a band too, right? I mean, going on 14 years doesn't mean that we've already, we're hoping that we still.
I mean, you're halfway to 20, right? Wow.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Like, you want to keep going. You want to keep, and if we keep throwing out a nugget here and there, that's a plus for us, man. Like right now, we have our newer single out, Hunter Prey, and that's doing well. So we're pushing that right now, and like I said, we're doing the Metal Up tour dates out there, pushing that, and the majority of right now, like the songs are only all available in complete format in the physical CD. We only have a couple songs out digitally, and we're just starting to push physical media because
now, let me ask you: is that you shared that with me? Is that a decision you made? The record company made? Because I know typically you're very you post everything usually. It's up on the whatever the new release is. But I think it's a smart thing to do too. I mean, I've interviewed Sean Peck, the singer from Cage, several times, and that's kind of he releases his own music, puts it out through his record company on record. But he tells me like, okay, we'll release a single, put a video, we'll put all that up on YouTube, but we're not gonna post every single track on the album because if you want to buy the whole album, you go out and buy the whole album, and that seems to work for some bands,
Yeah, well, listen, I mean, the thing is you want a band wants to maintain as much control as they possibly can, and these days with digital, we've lost a lot of control.
Yeah.
And with the new models that are out there, it's not helping bands, and I've looked at it for a number of years now that digitally it just isn't helping me the way it should be, right? And at the end of the day, like, what helps a band out financially is physical sales, CD sales. We go out and play, we meet the audience, they purchase something, they go home, they take a piece of the band with them, we move on to the next town or whatever. We do the same thing. That all adds up. Digital, bands get nothing from digital. I mean, the bottom line, get nothing.
You're at a point in your career too where if you post a new video up on YouTube, just because the band's been around 14 years or whatever, it's going to get a certain number of views, and you kind of already got that baked in. But like you said, if you actually want people to go support the band, go buy the new EP, go get a physical copy, come see the band play live, buy a T-shirt when you come to a show, and I think that encourages people, like, because you give them a little taste, like, okay, well, we put out this video, check that out. But if you want to hear the new album, here's where you go to buy it,
Right. Well, that's what I grew up on. That's what you grew up on. That was the industry for years, right? So
yeah.
We did a pre-sale, an autograph pre-sale. We sold out of that, and then we have a second run of CDs that are out now. We have with a different color disc. It's the Molten Metal Up disc, so it's more of a red disc.
Collector's thing, yeah.
We can do it with vinyl. We can do it with discs, and we have a limited number of them. When they sell out, we'll get another one in with something different in it.
Yeah, that's cool.
Right now we have a T-shirt, a Metal Up T-shirt, and the Metal Up extended EP. You can get all that. Like, you just scan the code, boom, ship. Everything's like one price. Everything's shipped right to your door.
Now, Mick, I want you to share this because you shared with me when we set up this interview for today that Corner Sanctuary is going to be included in a book that somebody is writing about. I think a bunch of bands from Philadelphia. Can you tell us a little more about that?
Yeah, so I mean, we were approached. Actually, it was almost well, this summer would be 2 years ago. About because we had been around a number of years, right? Last man
Sure,
standing.
sure.
So say being around forever does kind of pay off to some degree. But anyway, they wanted to do some like a background biography piece on us, and at first we were like, yeah, and then we were kind of like, oh, I'm not sure, like who's really cares, that kind of thing. And then we thought, hey, why not? You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Somebody's interested. Let's see what happens. And like I said, this summer would be 2 years already in the making because this stuff doesn't happen overnight. But
yeah,
we've
yeah,
we're kind of excited about it to be included in such a project, to be asked about being
yeah.
such a project. So yeah, it's cool. So I mean, give you a little background on the band, like the history, couple of, a few of the different members, because we've
Uh-huh.
exchanged members uh quite a lot over the years. Some people have come and gone and come
Yeah,
back
yeah,
again.
yeah,
So but it happens. What are you going to do?
yeah. Well, you got Mick Michaels the mainstay, so that's what matters, and whoever's in the current lineup. But it's all one big happy family, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we just keep listen. We're just keep going, one day at a time, one song at a time.
That's really what matters. And I got to tell you, you would ask. First, I haven't seen this book. I'm interested in the book too when it comes out. If you'd ask, did I want to do a quote for a book? And I can't sit here and tell you exactly what I said, but I said something to the effect about what a great songwriter you are. And the guy who's putting together a book, I sent him my quote, and he was saying, "Oh, that's really great quote for a simple fact that I know that's what Mick is like most proud of. It's songwriting."
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, it's yeah. I mean, I am. I mean, but I do feel that I got a lot more ground to cover, and this band, this project gives me the opportunity to keep working on that. And I mean, so what's a better state to be in, right? I
yeah.
mean,
Because
then
you even joked with me before, but I just play guitar in this band. I consider myself much more of a writer. I don't even.
yeah,
It's just something I do.
right. Oh
So,
yeah, I just so happened to play guitar, and I
yeah.
got recruited to play in the band. But no, I mean, I've been fortunate, man, to get this far, so I'm happy about that.
Yeah, I mean, you just think you're 6 years away from being turning 20, a band,
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
that's pretty exciting, actually. We'll see what happens, man. We got a few more albums in us. I'm positive of that.
yeah, yeah. And it's cool too. The thing with the Christmas music that you kind of just accidentally fell into that because you were sharing me too. The funny thing is, as popular as Corner of Sanctuary is, you said that's the one time of year because we've been putting out a Christmas song every year for about the last 10 years or so, and you said we got enough Christmas music that has been released at this point that every December they start. That's what we get played on the radio.
Yeah, we get. I mean, I'm not afraid to say it. We get more airplay between November and January 6th on cross genre stations
Mhm.
than any other time of the year. Simply because, I mean, listen, holiday music. Holiday music is a little bit more digestible to a
Yeah,
larger group of people, right? So
sure.
why not take advantage of something like
I
that?
mean,
And
I
I
tell
have
you,
to say that I'm
people got to
I'm
take a
very
deep
excited to
dive.
say that last
Yeah,
song,
yeah.
the last song actually charted as well on the World Indie 100.
Oh
So
wow.
yeah, so I mean, all these years of doing it, it really did. It started to pay off. So I'm kind of excited about that.
Yeah, because people got to take a deep dive, and you'd be amazed at how many great kind of even hard rock and metal Christmas songs that are out. I like there's a couple great Alice Cooper ones that I came across. Leonard Skinner, Bon Jovi, and it's amazing. You look at a band like Twisted Sister. That's now their best-selling album. Not
Yeah,
Stay Hungry, but their Christmas album, Twisted
yeah.
Sister. Yeah,
Hey, listen, because every year, right? Every
yeah,
year, there's that chunk of time that everybody gets nostalgic. Everybody gets, and I don't care where you come from or what you believe in. On some level, everybody gets into the holiday
sure.
at some aspect. If it's just music, if it's just gift buying, is it a religious thing? Is it just you're opening your heart? You're seeing people you haven't seen in a year or
Yeah, yeah.
longer. And so, like I'm saying, holiday music is super digestible and it's more acceptable than people realize. And I think that artists are starting to see because you take a popular artist like Bing Crosby, who's been gone for,
many
decades.
decades. Yeah.
But his Christmas music every year makes
Bells.
money, brings in money to that dynasty, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah. I mean,
why not?
you got Mariah Carey who goes #1 every year, but there's so many other great stuff besides just Mariah Carey.
That's right, man. That's right. So, and I'm happy to say that some of our music's in there. Maybe not as high as Bing Crosby or Mariah Carey, but it's in there somewhere.
Yeah, I'll tell you. In fact, a great example of that is people may laugh when I say this, but I got the latest, if you can believe it or not, Dolly Parton rock album. She's got some metal like Rob Halford and Richie Sambora and some of these other guys, Nikki Sixx on the album, and it's great stuff. She does covers of some of like she does a cover of a Police's "Every Breath You Take" with I think Sting on it, doing it with her. But just kind of she rocks it up, and it's just amazing.
Yeah, I mean, listen, that's good business. It keeps you relevant. It gets you involved with a younger crowd, which introduces you. Like seriously, like you think about it, like Judas Priest fans being introduced to Dolly Parton, Motley Crue fans, so on and so, Police fans. That's just smart business. And who doesn't want to stand next to an icon like Dolly?
Yeah, and I don't know if you know the story behind how she came to do the album. Initially there was a whole controversy about Judas Priest wasn't originally going to get in that year, and then Dolly Parton of all people got nominated for Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and she fell in the Hall of Fame. Well, hey, I'm honored, but I'm not really a rock artist. You're going to induct me anyways, then I think I got to put out a rock album. And,
right.
And then she appears at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame with Rob Halford of all people.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
And
it was gosh, that was awesome. So
that's a great metal moment right there.
It helps everybody.
Yeah, and I know. Speaking of Judas Priest, you're a huge fan, so I got to ask I'm sure you've had a chance to hear their latest album. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. Oh, I think it's tremendous. I actually just 2-3 nights ago, I just seen them in concert at the local arena, and it was just amazing. I mean, the new album is amazing. I mean, again, it goes to show you that, like, with inspiration, anything is possible.
Sure.
When they brought Richie into the band, it really did. It changed the dynamic, right? Anytime you bring a new person into the band, the dynamic changes. And for what you want it to change in a positive way, which it had.
Yeah.
And they sold out. It was a sold out show. The place was packed. People were going nuts. It's undeniable what 50 years of, again, you talk about a band who's pretty much stuck to their guns.
Yeah.
Teetered here, teetered there. They always tried some new things. But man, every album to me is a gem.
I mean, I think you go back, any band that's been around 50 years. I mean, you're going to have a few flops, but they've maintained, I think, for the most part. I think the latest album is probably best thing they've done in a real long time. But hey, I'm a Judas Priest fan just like you. I love everything. I was even amazed. I went back and I checked out the very first album, Rock-a-Rolla. If you listen to that, because a lot of those songs were written with a different singer in mind, that's much more of a progressive rock album than you would think Judas Priest would put out.
Oh yeah, well back then, I'll be honest with you. Every Judas Priest album, I love it for what it is. Sure. There may be a song here or there that I don't care for as much, but I mean, I'm including Turbo too, because I think Turbo is a fantastic album. Halford's vocals at that time were just unbelievable. You go back and listen to that album, it's incredible. Even Ram It Down, besides the Johnny B. Good song that they had to put in there. But that's a great album. Unfortunately, they didn't play anything from that album on the show that I seen. But they're all really great albums. They all have something. Those early albums, Rock-a-Rolla, Sad Wings of Destiny, Sin After Sin, they're solid. Yeah, you're right. They're progressive albums, but they're what solidified them to what they became in 78, 79, 80. And their albums, for me, that really introduced me to those guitar sounds. I mean, my favorite Judas Priest album is Stained Class. That's when things really started to pick up for me in terms of guitar. Yeah. But those early albums, there's like, I mean, Starbreaker, come on, man. That's the only difference is you just got to change the amps. It's still amazing.
Well, and I think the biggest difference, I mean, Richie is really kind of, he's a really good, great player, but I think for the diehard fans, the thing is, it's kind of sad. KK's not there. Glenn's unable to get up there and, play with him on stage, but he was still very much involved with the writing. So he's still there in a way.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he does appear at some shows, and they had some stuff on the screen with him. He's still technically a member. I
Yeah.
mean, he was in the video and stuff, but I get it. I mean, listen, you're dealing with health problems
You
and
gotta take
stuff.
care.
In spirit, he's still with that band. And I mean, just a couple weeks before, I got to see KK's Priest, and that was
cool.
an amazing show.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
amazing show. I actually got to meet KK. I took a picture with him. I got him to sign some stuff. I mean,
Oh, that must have been as a fan, that must have been.
let me tell you, that was like a Cinderella thing for me, man. I was, because KK's my favorite guitar player of all time. So being able to see both of those bands in their true form, just an amazing thing. Just an amazing
I bet, yeah. And of course, we're mutual Kiss diehard fans. They played their last show last December. I think last time I talked to you, you were seeing it, if you were going to be able to go see them live. Did you ever get to see them?
Yeah, I got to see them in the Baltimore show. I could not get to New York, unfortunately. But then, well, when the ticket, whatever tickets were left, I wasn't going to pay that. But I got to see. I went down to the third to last show in Baltimore, and it was great. I mean, I loved it. The energy down there was fantastic. I mean, I think what was exciting as a fan is you're looking around and you're seeing an entire building filled with like the same admiration. We were all sharing that one thing, and everyone was there for the right reasons. Like there wasn't a problem. Like, you know what I mean? Like sometimes you go to a concert and there's, guy throwing up over here. There's a fight over here. People like just trying to, hot dog seats and whatever. But it wasn't like that. It was just like everybody was there for the same. Like the vibe was just unbelievable.
Because everybody knew it's going to be the last time probably you see this.
Right. I mean, right. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. Like I even remember turning to my buddies and I go, guys, like this is it. Like this is it for us. There's, and it was just it was an amazing thing, and I'm glad I got to see it. I'm a little bummed out.
What are your thoughts on the Avatar thing? Because I think they're kind of the only band that could probably get away with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I am bummed out about them selling their stuff. I was hoping they would never do that, but we'll see what happens, man. I just hope that they don't go the way of some of these other bigger brands and franchises went by selling out to the bigger boys, because if something gets lost, I mean, what's going to happen is I'm not going to be interested in any of the newer stuff that happens. I'm just going to stick to the old hat stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I think the interesting thing about avatars is, I mean, it makes you think that, okay, these guys they're in their 70s. Who knows how much longer they're going to physically be here, and so it gets to a point where maybe the guys pass on, and Kiss will be one of those brands that lives on forever. Where none of the guys are even still alive. Yeah.
I mean, listen, I think that there was. I said it on my show too, and if they want to live forever, then they should have licensed something to Disney or Universal and had a ride, and that would have been the ultimate Kiss experience. I would have loved that. Then the avatars would have made sense. Me, I wasn't interested in going to go see a hologram of Dio.
Yeah.
I love Dio. I've seen Dio so many times. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But I wasn't interested in going to see a hologram. I'm not interested in going to see a cartoon of a band that I'm not. Right. I'm sure there are going to be plenty of people. Kiss could disappear for 5 years. They could be 83, come back and say, listen, we're going to do a number of shows. They'd all sell out. Yeah. So you don't have that kind of staying power if you sell out, in my opinion.
Yeah, so, I think the only reason I could think, I mean, I'm really surprised they sold, and who knows if they kept like a percentage of the ownership of anything, who knows, but probably doing too, maybe for when they are gone, at least some of their kids.
Yeah, well, listen, I don't think that they gave everything up, but I'm sure that they
gave up enough. Yeah,
they gave up enough to keep things going. And personally, what was it, 300 million or something they got? I think that's a little low for Kiss. I mean, George Lucas got 4.3 billion for Star Wars. I think Kiss could have gotten $1 billion.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't hold out for more. And you know,
Yeah.
another great band that kind of was going to go on their farewell and has come back is Motley Crue. Are you much of a Motley fan? Because you know they're going to drop a new single tomorrow. I'm kind of interested in hearing that.
I was a long time ago. I've kind of lost a lot of
Interest.
interest
Yeah.
in them. Listen, I mean, if somebody had an extra ticket and I didn't have to pay for it, I'd go. But I'm not.
I hear you. I hear you. Yeah.
I mean, I like, you know, I'm a fan of their old stuff. You know, really like after after Theater of Pain, I kind of did, you
Lost
know, in
interest. Yeah.
the 80s, I kind of was going someplace else. I really wasn't interested in the whole girls.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
but hey, listen, more power to them, baby. If they can do it, that's what they're supposed to be doing, right?
Yeah. What do you think of John Five as a guitar player? I mean, he's obviously amazing at what he does, but I mean, I'm interested. He seems to like kind of fit in there, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it seems to be working. We'll hear what this new stuff sounds like, but I'm sure it's going to be good. Whatever it is, I'm sure it's going to be good. I don't know how they're going to work Vince Neil's voice, but then again, when you're in the studio and you're not competing with other loud sounds or the crowd, or you don't have to fight for air and you're in a nice little box, you can really belt out some stuff. I've experienced that stuff personally myself, but I've seen it, you know, even on shows and stuff. So you know, listen, these are professionals. We'll see what happens. And if not, they got enough onboard gear now in the studios. I'm sure they'll make him sound like a rock star.
Yeah, yeah. So one final question for you, Mick, before we wrap it up for today. You got the great new EP out, Metal Up. When you guys do start playing out live again, how much of the new EP do you think will be added into the set?
There'll be a couple songs. I mean, what makes it difficult every time a new
Release drops, yeah,
is that we have so many staple songs within that over these years that people want to hear. So we have to juggle stuff around and you know, we have to experiment because what we think may work may not work. But I know Hunter Prey is definitely in there. That's actually our new
great heavy tune. Yeah, you want to talk about the riff? I love the riff in that song.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I don't know. A lot of this stuff happens organically, like we're just kind of fooling around or I'm noodling around. And then all of a sudden, like you go, okay, what did I just do there? And then you recreate it and then you build from there. And that's how things happen. I mean, that's how they happen.
Yeah, yeah, for you.
Well, for me, yeah, because like I said, I'm not a schooled guitar player. I don't have years of study and theory and all that kind of, and a degree. So a lot of things just kind of happen. And then
okay. Well, I urge people to go out and buy the new EP, Metal Up. Mick, it was great talking again today. This will go probably, I'm going to try to get this up by next Thursday. I'll let you know once it's up and feel free to share it, okay?
All right, brother. Absolutely. Thanks, man.
Anytime. Bye-bye.